Hi everyone, my name is Anna and at Migrant Dr. Mom, and I'm so glad, really glad that you could find time to join me today. It's always an honor to have you guys join in, send in the questions. So it's good to know what you would like me to cover. If you're a new subscriber, by all means, welcome. Feel at home. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. Today, I want to talk about a topic that's just a follow up to the responses that I've gotten from my recent video on how to migrate to Australia as a doctor. You may remember that I was mainly talking about the standard pathway of application to work in Australia as international medical graduate, so an IMG. And so today I'm going to talk about working, or what we call the work-based assessment. I'll use WBA a lot. So WBA is essentially work-based assessment. So one of the questions I got was when someone reviewed the fees that are available on the website about doing a work-based assessment, it shows that I think you pay about $1,000. And someone was asking me how come it's quite cheap to do the work-based assessment and all that. And I will cover it a little bit more. It is essentially not $1,000. It's just $1,000 that you pay to the Australian Medical Council, but there are other costs that are involved for you to do the work-based assessment. So sit back and just listen in. So standard pathway of application, standard pathway of the AMC, essentially, like I said, involves two steps. The AMC clinical exam, where you get a series of MCQ exams that are delivered via the computer. And then there's a second part where you do the AMC clinical exam or work-based assessment. So the work-based assessment and the AMC clinical exam is the second part of applying as a doctor to become, to get general registration to work in Australia as an international medical graduate doctor. So some are asking which one should I do, which one should I not do. Essentially, the AMC clinical exam is the main one. By that I mean a lot of people do AMC 2, which is the AMC clinical. It's because work-based assessment is essentially done in just a couple of hospitals. So essentially what I'm going to be talking in this video today is the process of work-based assessment, everything that you need to know about work-based assessment, and generally how you can get onto the program, and obviously at the end of it get the AMC certificate that you're going to use to get the general registration to work in Australia as a doctor. So, if you look at the flow chart on here, essentially, one needs the following things to be able to apply for work-based assessment. Number one, you need to have passed your AMC 1, and therefore meaning you're eligible for limited registration as a doctor. So you need to have passed AMC 1. And you need to have done your English test, so whether IELTS, PT, or whatever, but essentially you need to have a band of 7 across board. So MC1, an English test, and a job offer. So because you have a job offer, you will be eligible to get limited registration. And now, as a doctor on limited registration, you can now try and get onto a work-based assessment that will eventually then give you the chance to get general registration. So once you get your job offer, your limited registration, and then you need to apply. So what happens is WBA is offered in some specific hospitals. I'll put up a link on some of the hospitals that offer WBA. WBA is offered in some hospitals, and it's quite interesting. I'll put up a link that shows the hospitals that offer WBA program. So essentially, like for example, in Western Australia, we used to have it provided by WACS, which is the Western Australia, the hospitals in Western Australia, and part of them, like for example, in Geraldton, in Kalgoorlie, in Bunbury, and I think Albany, I'm not too sure. But I was quite pleased as I was looking through. I discovered that now Joondalup Health Campus is also offering the WBA program. So if you are in the process of trying to look for a WBA hospital, please jump onto it. It's quite one of the new sites that are offering WBA. So like I was saying, once you get your limited registration, now you can try and find a job in a WBA site hospital. And in the hospital itself, you will be able to speak to the WBA coordinator. And then each hospital has its own way of, ensuring you get onto a WBA. The fact that you work in Kalgoorlie or the fact that you work in a certain hospital doesn't guarantee you getting onto the program. So you may notice that some hospitals, that offer the WBA program, obviously you need also to see what their requirements are for you to get onto the program. Some of them may need you to have worked for them for a year, or each site is different really. And so it's sort of one of those things that, luck sort of, or, being at the right place, right time may be able to get you onto the WBA program. And then once you get onto the WBA program, then the site sort of coordinator or the site, the person responsible will then liaise with AMC, and you'll be given the go ahead to start the WBA program. On the WBA program, essentially what you will do is do a couple of rotations in the hospital. And there is a bare minimum, obviously, of the rotations that you need to do. Essentially, you need to have some time in medicine, some time in ED, and some time in surgery. And during that process, there are a couple of things that you'll need to do. There'll be, because essentially what you need to mimic is you need to be able to achieve or to show your skills as a doctor in Australia that would be similar to if you were doing sort of an OSCE or AMC clinical exam. So you should be able to look at the area of, patient management, investigations, follow-up and all that. And your program will sort of, part of your assessment to include these areas where you do mini cases, which are mini sort of small, like short, what we used to commonly say short case. In Kenya, we used to say short case or long case. So essentially, mini cases will be like a short case, and then case-based discussions will be like a long case. And then obviously, as you rotate around, there will be, feedback from the people that you work with, the nurses, the doctors, and all that. And obviously, at the end of your 47 completed weeks, then the personnel responsible will send a message back to the AMC to tell them that you've successfully completed your WBA program. So what are the advantages really of doing a work-based assessment? I would highly say a work-based assessment is really good in this sense. A lot of people, we are human beings. There are people that have social anxiety. There are people that, exam settings just don't really, they don't do so well. But on bedside, they're really good doctors. So WBA gives you the opportunity sort of to be able to work with people, to be able to do this in sort of quote unquote a stress-free environment where you'll do your assessments gradually over time, over the rotations as you go along, and gradually over time you'll be able to finish it. The other good thing obviously is the fact that it's over a period of time, and as you do the work-based assessment, you're still working as a doctor on limited registration, so you can still earn, you can still get your pay. And then the other thing, you work with colleagues that can help you build on your strengths, and also at the same time you can get time to work on your weaknesses, and therefore nurture your skills to be a better clinician and a better doctor. The thing that many people may not know is it does appear like it's a cheap process, because if you look on the website, AMC website, it sounds like it's $1,000, but I need to, sort of advise is there is an amount that you pay to the hospital. There's a certain amount that you pay to the hospital depending on the site that you're at. I think it can range, from $12,000 a year to up to $15,000 a year. So it's not cheap as well. That's the main thing about Australian exams. They're not cheap at all. And the only good thing is because you're ongoing, you're working, you can be able, to sort of do it in installments and be able to completely pay for it. So at the end of your WBA, they've ticked you off, they've said, look, you are good to go, then you will get an AMC certificate. And it is with the AMC certificate now that you are going to submit to APRA. So, Australia, APRA, the registration body that works with, under the Medical Board of Australia, and with the APRA and obviously your current English, then you'll be able to get registered as you'll get your general registration as a doctor, which is exciting. I remember, I feel like it's the most exciting time of an IMG and, international medical graduate. It's the best time of your career when you get your general registration in Australia, because general registration opens a lot of doors for you as a person. It opens a lot of doors for you as a family unit, and it just, it's equivalent to, like getting your skills assessed when you're doing your permanent, residence application. So it's one important little, not little, it's one important step or milestone in your career as a doctor. And by all means, everybody should, just persevere through it and do their best to complete and get their general registration. So that's in summary, as per the flow chart, it's essentially, get your limited registration. So by and large, you cannot apply for a WBA if you don't have a job offer. You cannot apply for a WBA program if you don't have AMC1. So obviously, in summary, get your AMC1, get your IELTS, get a job offer, get onto a limited registration in Australia, and then apply to the different hospitals that offer a work-based assessment program, and then they will apply to the AMC, and then you will do your program. There are fees involved, and once you get your AMC certificate, then you'll be able now to apply for your general registration. So if it's a program or if it's something that you're keen to do, please look at the hospitals. My approach has always been approach as many hospitals as you can. Do a good job. If they give you an offer, they may tell you you're not able to get onto it immediately. But whatever it is, position yourself, give it your best, show people that you are good at what you do, you're dependable, you're a team player, you can deliver, you get to work on time, you can present yourself in journal clubs, in everything. Do that which entails. Be proactive. Don't take the back bench. Be proactive. Let people know that you are really good at what you do, and they will give you a chance at every step of your career. So I wish you the very best, even as you hope to get onto this program. And if that doesn't work, by all means, I wish you the very best, even as you sit your AMC2. Come on, you can do this. I was in your shoes before, and I did it. You can do this, and all the best. If you like this content, or if you'd like to hear more about this, or there's an area that's you're not sure, by all means, send me a message. And if you've done the work-based assessment and you want to share your thoughts, please comment in the section below, and let's help our colleagues get onto the other side. Thank you so much, and thanks for being here.